This podcast is produced by the Harwood Productions Podcast Network. To learn more about the network and to find more of our shows, visit us online at www.harwoodpodcast.com.
Hi, I'm Cindy Harris. Welcome to Easy Entertaining.
These mahi fish tacos are great for entertaining. They're easy to put together and they're really fresh and delicious tasting. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the fish. Now I'm using some frozen mahi. It's something that I can get easily at the store here, but you can use any kind of fish you want as long as it's kind of a thick fish steak. And I want about 2 pounds of it. And then I'm just going to drizzle it in a pan with about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. What we're going to do is kind of create a little bit of a marinade for this fish. So once we've got the olive oil in, then I like to take a lime and squeeze a lot of lime juice on top of it. That lime just gives this fish a really fresh flavor. And then I do like just a little bit of heat. Now this is actually a little jalapeno that I had growing in the garden. And I'm going to take the seeds and the membrane out. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dice it up really, really fine. Now, if you like a little more heat, you could certainly leave the seeds in, or you could even use a serrano pepper. But even if you're not wild about a lot of heat, which I don't like a lot of heat, but I don't mind just a little bit, having a little bit of this jalapeno really is nice. And then I'm just going to sprinkle that right on the fish. And then I'm going to get some cilantro. And I want to end up with about 1/4 cup of it chopped. Now this doesn't have to be too finely chopped, just kind of a rough chop. And we're just going to chop that up and put that on the fish as well. Then I'm just going to put a sprinkle of some kosher salt and a crack of some black pepper right over the top of all the fish. And then what I'm doing is I'm going to kind of take my hands and move this marinade all over the fish. I don't just want it to be on the top, I want it to be on the bottom as well. And you can let this sit for, anywhere from a half an hour to an hour or two. It doesn't really matter. If you're going to leave it out for more than about 20 minutes, I'd probably cover it and put it in the refrigerator so that it stays nice and cold. Now, while the fish is marinating, you can go ahead and get some other ingredients together. Now, for the fish tacos, you really have to have shredded lettuce. And if you have a head of lettuce and you want to just chop it up nice and fine, go ahead. Otherwise, it's great just to get a bag of lettuce. And then instead of just having plain lettuce, I like to add some cilantro to it. It really gives a great flavor. So again, I take, a handful of cilantro, do a rough chop, and then I add that to the lettuce as well. Then I just, with my hands, kind of give that a mix up, just making sure that that nice dark cilantro goes all the way through the lettuce. Now it's time to grill our fish. Now I wanted to show you these neat fish baskets I found. I have always had trouble barbecuing fish because I found it stuck and it was tricky to deal with, and I don't know, it was kind of a pain. But I found these fish baskets and they're really great. All you do is you open them up. They kind of look like a big snowshoe. You open them up, you pull that little lever back, open it, then you can put your fillets right inside this basket, and then you put the lid back down and then slide that little collar, and then you can flip that around on the barbecue. It's so great. I like my fish to have some color to it. So what I did is I prepare my fillets and I put them in the basket in the kitchen, and then I take them out to my barbecue and I do a direct heat, so just a single layer of coals, and look at the color you get on these things. It's absolutely fantastic, and you can really control it. You just keep flipping them until you get them done just the way you like them. So these are looking just great, so I'm going to put them on a tray and take them on into the kitchen. And then with some oven mitts, because this metal is really hot, Look at how easily that comes out of these baskets. I'm so happy with that. The fish isn't falling apart. It's just a really great way to grill fish out on the barbecue. Now you can also see why I like to use steaks, fish steaks, because it gives you a little bit more of the fish to deal with when you're cutting it up, which is really important. And here I'm just cutting it into some slices, nothing fancy, just in pieces that I can put into a taco. Now for the tortilla piece, I like to get the homemade tortillas if you can find them, and then put them in the microwave for just 30 seconds to kind of warm them up. It makes them easier to deal with. Now here we go. We're going to put our tacos together. We've got our salad. I minced up some red onion. I have some guacamole, some pico de gallo. Those two things you can usually find pre-made at the store if you don't have time. And then I like some light sour cream, and there are my handmade tortillas that I've warmed up. So all I do is I do build these one at a time, or you could have everything out and let everybody build their own. But I take the tortilla and I first start by putting some of the lettuce and cilantro down, right down the middle. I put a nice spoonful of the chopped red onion. Then it's time to add some fish, and I go ahead and put 1 or 2 pieces depending on the size, but I like it to go all the way across the tortilla. Then I like the fresh salsa on top of that with a little bit of guacamole is really nice. And then I do like to put just a little bit of sour cream. Now, if you had the fixings out, people could just make their, their taco the way they like them. And what I do is if I'm going to serve 2, then I can just take the second tortilla and kind of butt it up against the first one, and I can go ahead and make the second one right on the same plate. Now I wanted to mention, just in case you weren't able to barbecue your fish, you could also prepare it the same way we did, but just cook it in a large saute pan on really high heat, like medium-high heat, making sure the pan is really hot, and then you can go ahead and just cook it, and it's delicious that way too. Well, the next time you're thinking about cooking up some fish, give these fish tacos a try. They are really flavorful, really fresh, and I think your friends and family are really going to like them.
For more information on this episode, go to our website and visit the Easy Entertaining show notes. Also, if you have any questions or ideas for us, send us an email. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.